Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Valhelsia 2, Kappa Mode. How are you guys doing today? How's life? It's not Kappa Mode, I know. Today I made a huge discovery. There is a mod in this mod pack called Apotheosis, and we are under attack. We played with this mod a little bit in Project Ozone 3 Kappa Mode, but we just use it in order to make spawners, and that's it. And honestly speaking, I thought spawners are the limit of this mod, but no, we get a lot of enchantment stuff. So, I was thinking we start today's episode by exploring this mod. If you guys remember from episode 1 when we wanted to enchant stuff, we came to the enchantment table and there were Eterna, Quantana and Arcana, and I had no idea what they are. But there are corresponding bookshelves which they will either increase or decrease those attributes on our enchantment table. So why are these important? Well, Eterna increases the maximum level that we can enchant. If we have an Eterna of 50, we can do a level 100 enchantment. If we have a certain measure of Arcana, we are guaranteed to get extra enchantments and more rare enchantments. Quantana is basically a game of luck, so we're not gonna use that. And by game of luck, I mean you will either get a perfect enchantment or you will waste every single level that you have. Therefore, what we want to do is to try and max out Eterna and Arcana. So we're going to need a lot of dragon heads and Heart of the Sea, and of course some ender pearls. I do a garbage amount of damage. It takes 4 hits to kill an enderman, and this is why we need better enchantments. I was trying to find an end city because we need a lot of dragon heads as well. It's a very small end city, but it had a ship. 14 diamonds in a chest. Okay, I'll take it. Advancement made. Cover me with diamonds. Oh, I got the helmet. Okay. The Draconic End Shelf, which gives us +4 Eterna, requires a dragon head. So far, I did manage to find 4. That should be the 5th. But I don't want to go exploring anymore today. So for the moment, that's going to be our final one. Unless we manage to find more end cities on the way back home. I said I'm going to look for more end cities on our way home, but our way home is a waystone. So unfortunately, no more end cities. We have a total of 7 dragon heads and we should be able to make 7 draconic end shelves, and that will give us 28 Eterna. I'm not exactly sure, but maybe the effect will also stack with the mana pylons that we have over here. Do we have anything which is not enchanted? Yeah, we already have 15 over here, okay. So let us also go for a small adventure in the overworld so that we can find some Heart of the Seas and some Prismarine in order to make the Heart Forge Sea Shelf. That will give us a little bit of Eterna and a lot of Arcana. Buried treasure map. Very good. We seem to be very close. It's over there. That took me a while. It's over here. And we have one. I also found a sunken ship and we have another treasure map. And this one is also close. It's down there. I found it. Another sunken ship, and you also have a buried treasure map. Not a very welcoming area. Why are there so many skeletons? Yes, we found it. I was flying around and then I came upon this Prismarine coral, and when you break it, it drops Prismarine. Oh, a trident guy. I actually have a trident, but maybe he drops a second one? No. We did not manage to get a crazy amount of these, but we have 4. Oh, this is not just any sea shelf, it requires Sea Infusion 5. Uh-oh. It's fine, we can make these guys, and then let us see if we can get Sea Infusion 5. There are tomes over here from the same mod, and one of them is only for weapons. So I'm guessing if we use the tomes inside our enchantment table, we should be able to get the enchantment that we want. Oh, we can't. Level 61. Indestructible. Someone actually left me a comment that you can find these ores underground and you can use them in order to level up. I actually thought they are for decoration because I didn't know what to do with them. But if you fortune them, you get Expetrified Orb and you can just right click in order to level up. We should have tons of it here, yes. Indestructible is going to need 61 levels, and let us see if we get it. Well, we got 3 enchantments. And all of them are nice. After like 10 attempts, we can get Sea Infusion 1. Well, I did do a lot of enchantments, and unfortunately the only Sea Infusion that we got is one Sea Infusion 1, so it's not going to be very useful. But we did manage to get Warpal Tree, which is actually very useful because it will give us beheading and we can do extra damage. So we're going to put it on our sword, and I guess let's give it a try. Well, judging by the fact that we're getting a lot of hits, I'm guessing the beheading works, but the critical damage does not apply every single hit. So sometimes it takes 2 hits, sometimes it takes 1. And the best part of having Warpal is that we can get Wither Skeleton Skulls. Yeah, it's relatively fast. We already got 2 skulls. We need 1 more. He dropped 2. How? I swear, he dropped 2. And to be honest with you, the entire reason that I went for a Wither Skeleton Skull was to fight the Wither because I want to see the effect of Warpall. It's not a very wise thing to do. That's dirt, and that's our base. We're actually... oh, we are doing a lot of damage. Wow. We could summon 2 of them, and here is the second one, and I'm gonna die. How did he do so much damage? Now I know how he managed to do so much damage. We have this stupid mod which the Wither gets stronger every time you kill him. We have him. I don't know if you have noticed or not, but we lost around 70 levels of experience to the Wither, which is very counterproductive if you want to do enchantments which are above level 50. What I'm trying to say is that we need to get that experience back. There seems to be a potion of ancient knowledge, and if I'm not wrong, that should give us a lot of experience once we are under the potion effect, which is going to need an experience bottle, and we only have 1. We can also convert any type of potion that we have into a charm, and as long as it is in our inventory, we should have the effect. Oh, it takes durability. In any case, let us give it a try. We have 7 levels. Now we have 8. We have 9. I think we are getting an XP boost. Yeah, I think we are getting a decent experience boost. That's nice. It is actually very useful if we have a mob farm, which we don't. But maybe we can make one. Just before we continue with the rest of the episode, there is something that I would like to do. I have noticed that these bookshelves are hideous. I mean, look at those eyes. Then look at my eyes. They're not even comparable. So I just had to spend a little bit of time trying to understand how can we hide them somewhere. And I think we have a solution. From Create. There is a mechanical piston from Create and it's very neat. So let me demonstrate it for you. It's not just a piston. It can extend more than 10 blocks. And if it's a sticky piston, it can extend the bookshelf and bring it back. So that is what we are going to try and do. And since I get a lot of comments that I should do a little bit more explaining, we're going to build this one together. There is an item called the Encased Fan from Create. Depending on which type of item you put in front of it, it will either cook it for you or wash it. But it can also be used in order to generate rotational power. And the way that it's going to generate us rotational power is that we have to place it down like this, so that the fan is to the bottom and the axle is on the top. And then we need to provide it with some sort of a hot fluid underneath. So now if we give it a redstone signal, it will give us kinetic energy. But now we want to power this mechanical piston. So what we have to do is that we are going to need a vertical gearbox so that we get the axle and the energy over here, and then place the piston. You might also notice that the piston is not moving, and the reason for that is we need extension poles. And we just add it to the back and the piston should extend. Not like this, just like this. So if we just right click, it will go forward. You might notice that if we right click, shift right click, or do whatever we want, the piston is not retracting, and the reason for that is very simple, because the axle is rotating counterclockwise. So this guy can only extend the arm. And if we want to retract it, we want the axle to go clockwise. So how do we do that? There is something called a gear shift. We don't need the axles or the shafts over here, but I just put it so that you would be able to see better. So now if we activate the piston, it will go forward. And now if we activate the gear shift using a redstone signal, it will retract. The rotation that we have is counterclockwise, but if we flick the lever on top of the gear shift, it will be clockwise. So what is the point of all of this? Well, I do have 4 bookshelves and we want to try and move them using the piston. In order to convert it into a sticky piston, all we need is slime balls. But we have 1 piston and more than 1 bookshelf. So what we need is linear chassis. And if we add slime balls to them, and put the bookshelves like this, it will move it for us. And it can also bring it back. I love this functionality. And it's also very smooth. So how do we want to do this? We're going to have our enchantment table in the center. Then we have our bookshelves, and those are the ones that we have to start moving. We are also going to have 2 mana pylons over here, but these are not the ones that we need to move because they already look nice. Oh, and by the way, I should have probably mentioned we're doing this at the side of a mountain. Our home is just over there. I think the chassis are going to go over here, like this. We have 6 in the front and 8 on the sides. And we just give them slime balls so that they're sticky and attach the bookshelves. We don't have all the bookshelves that we want, but for the moment, these will do. And I don't think we can just move them with 1 piston because these guys don't connect. So maybe we're going to need 3 pistons. This distance is 5 blocks, so I had to add 5 extension poles, and we need to do it for each and every one. The thing that I'm not exactly sure is that how are we going to configure the gearboxes. I did make a hand crank, let's see how it works. That one didn't go up because we have a torch. Actually, the reason that this one is not moving is because I think this has to go counterclockwise. Is it even possible? No, it's not possible. Okay. Yeah, actually it is possible. If we add one more gearbox over here, then that will also go up. And all we have to do is to try and move this piston by one more block. And that's it. And now if we put the gear shift, everything should work perfectly, right? Yes. And if we invert the signal, everything comes down. Very good. I added the slime balls and let us see if we can move the bookshelves. They should be attached, so we invert the signal and recall them. That is cool. After a little bit of tweaking, I think it works. So if we invert the signal, they will bring down the bookshelves, like so. And then if we turn off the signal, they will put it back, like so. So the only thing remaining is that I have to start cleaning it up and hook it up to a fan, so that it will function automatically. I wanted to get away with just having one fan, and this is why I tried to overcomplicate stuff. But the thing is, up there it was not symmetrical, so I had to make a few changes. Instead of one fan, we're gonna use 3. We just give them the lava and cover it. And the reason that none of them are moving is that we have to power the fans. So we put a lever, and we should be okay. Now the axle is moving. Now we need to have a wireless system in order to activate the gear shift. There is a redstone receiver and a redstone transmitter from a mod called Essentials, and I think it works the same way as Cyclic. We will know soon enough if we put it next to the gear shift, and I think we have to... Oh, we have to link it using a linking tool. Use it on the transmitter first and then the receiver, okay? Beginning linking. And now they're linked. Okay, do I have to see that? No. Can I link it to multiple devices? Yes. So if we give you a redstone signal, the bookshelf should come up? Yes. I love this. And they will go down. I have just spent a crazy amount of time trying to make something which is totally unnecessary, but in my personal opinion, it looks really cool. We just need to find some decorations for it. There are not that many building blocks in the game, so I was thinking maybe we go to the midnight dimension and try to find something interesting. But we need to find one of the portals, and if I'm not wrong, I saw one in the forest. Yes, it's not that far. We should also take a waystone so that I don't have to travel to that forest ever again. Yes, here is the portal, and I think we have to wait for nighttime, right? Yeah, this is unbreakable. These are not. So I'm guessing this is the portal. It's almost nighttime. Do I have to wait for midnight or nighttime is enough? I think the portal is open. Okay, we can go in. Am I in? No. Oh, it's lag. Okay. Hello. Just out of curiosity, if you don't have waystones, can you go back? Yes. But we do have a waystone, so we use this one. Hello. I have missed you. Over there you can see a rifter in his natural habitat. So I'm not looking for anything specific at this very moment, I'm just looking for blocks which are glowing and look creepy. That's it. We should have made our base over here. It's so nice. Every biome that I go to looks exactly similar. I'm very confused. And I'm very aware this is pink, not creepy. Yeah, actually, this is more like it. And just out of curiosity, are you food? Oh, you can cook it. And it does not poison you, okay? Also, you guys have been telling me that there is a boss in Midnight. What is this? We discovered something, and it's bouncy. We take it home, obviously. Anyway, what I was trying to say is that some of you guys were telling me that there is a boss in Midnight and we have to fight him. I have not found any references to a boss, so if you know where he is or how can I find him, can you please let me know? You are ebonite, which is used in making tools. Nice. I love the sound effects here. It's so creepy. And there is a dungeon with a lot of loot, which makes me happy. There is something called Stinger Egg and you cannot harvest it. This dimension looks really creepy, but so far I have not encountered any mobs. What was that? Oh, you're a stinger. I love scorpions. Will you do something? Oh, you drop eggs. Nice. Well, I did try to make a facade for it and I think it looks decent enough. The problem is these blocks that I wanted to use are extremely expensive. So for the moment, this will have to do until I get more resources. But in any case, when we want to do an enchantment, we flick the lever and we will get the bookshelves, we can do our enchantment, we have a simple storage network where we can have our lapis and the books, and when we are done, we can get rid of the ugly bookshelves. Which is really cool. Oh, and by the way, this lever is not going to stay here, I'm going to put it inside. But for the moment I think we spent enough time on enchantments and experience and so on and so forth, so let us get a bit into industries. I don't think in this mod pack we're going to have that much auto crafting because recipes are nothing. So I was thinking instead of setting up a huge system with our refined storage, we just have a small machine area. How many machines do we need? Every ultimate factory gives us 9 slots, so we don't need that many machines. So let me gather some resources, make a few machines, then I'll be right back. I have made some additional machines, I have made solar panels and some ender chests. So let us start making our machine area. The first thing that we're going to focus on is steel. We're going to have 2 infusing factories and 2 enrichment chambers on the top, like so. And of course I would like to mention that this is not a very efficient way of doing that, but I think it's symmetrical at least. The 2 enriching factories are going to take coal and they're going to make us carbon wafers. The first infusing factory is going to make us enriched iron, the second one is going to convert that into steel dust, and the smelting factory is going to make us the ingot. And just to keep it symmetrical, we're going to have 2 smelting factories. Then I'm going to have 3 additional infusing factories for the 3 different alloys that we have in mechanism. And finally we're going to have a crusher, a sawing factory, 1 osmium compressor, and 1 more infusing factory just in case we want to craft other stuff. Cause you know, with the infusing factory you can make podzol, you can make moss stone, you can make a lot of stuff. And honestly that's the total number of machines in order to process everything that you have in this pack. I think we are fully operational. I added solar panels and these 3 solar panels should be enough in order to power every single machine with enough RF. We need to sleep. I have to sleep here because there's a stupid zombie under my base and he's not despawning. Anyway, the only change that I made is that I put a 1 block gap between these 2 infusing factories so that I can fit ender chests between the other machines. Because it's easier, instead of using logistical transporters, we can just have an ender chest and they will export directly into the ender chest and we can import it to our refined storage. We just need to make a facade for it. And I was thinking of using nickel sheets. The question is, do they look nice next to steel? Yeah, I would say so. Oh, and by the way, there is a mod in this mod pack which lets you to put slabs vertically. So it offers us a very neat way of covering cables. I also thought we add some pipes so that it looks like we're providing it with coolant. Well, it does look fine by me, so we just leave it like this. Just before we wrap up today's episode, there is something that I want to try and do, and that is to try and automate the production of bread using Create. I don't know if it was the last episode or not, but I told you guys that I'm having a lot of problems trying to understand how everything in Create works. You guys gave me a lot of suggestions and I checked most of them out. The problem that I have is that nobody actually explains to you how the logistics works. The machines are self-explanatory because all you have to do is to go to the JEI, hold shift, and it will tell you what the machine does. The problem that I had was with logistics. What does a funnel do? How do you set up a conveyor belt? How do you set up, I don't know, an extractor or filters or whatever? I think I understand it now, so let's try that. I want to set up our bread factory over here. We already have a small wheat farm, we have some garden cloches, and we can also modify this building to look nice. But the problem is right over there, sunset. It's always nighttime. We need light. Because of darkness, I skip every single night, which is not very good because in this mod pack there is something that we need in very large quantities called phantom membrane. And you can't really get that if you sleep every single night. So we are going to go with floodlights from immersive engineering. I'm not exactly sure how we want to do this, but we can have a floodlight over here. And of course we can configure it with our hammer. And then we need to provide them with RF. I did make some ender cells from Power, and I think we're going to use them instead of generating RF locally or using a quantum entangloporter. We set this guy to channel 1 and give it 1 capacitor. Oh, you don't need more than 1 capacitor. It is perfectly fine. We also have an LV capacitor because this one looks nicer and we're going to put it on the top. We set you to extract, and again I made relays instead of the connector. Anyhow, we put the connector on top and we just connect you to you. And you also have to be inverted, and I forgot how to do that. For a very stupid reason that I do not understand, I cannot invert the signal, so we're gonna put a lever here and you should work. Yes. Because normally you should be able to shift right click underneath and it should invert the signal automatically, but it's not doing that. But this is really good because it will illuminate an area which is 32 by 32. And this time I have to sleep because it's raining. So how are we going to do this? First off, we're going to need wheat, we're going to need a millstone in order to get flour. Then we need to wash it in order to get dough, and then we need to bake it in order to get bread. Washing is going to be done by a fan, so the fan goes here. I think for getting the wheat we're going to use a garden cloche. So we do have an ender cell up there. We put our garden cloche over here, which is obviously going to require water, so we have a sink with an extractor. And now this guy is going to give us wheat and seeds. I have made some adjustable crates from Create and we're going to put it here, and this should get the wheat and the seeds. Very good. There is an item from Create called the extractor, and if you attach it to an inventory, it will extract items and just drop them. So we're going to make a filter for seeds and we're going to attach it to the extractor. And then we're going to have lava here so that whenever we get seeds, they will be voided. We can also use a trash, but it's okay. We don't technically need to use a conveyor belt, but they look cool, so I thought we're going to have a conveyor belt in order to drop the wheat into a millstone, which is going to go here. The millstone is going to require a gear so that it can operate, and we need to hook it up to a vertical gearbox so that we can operate the gear. Whenever you set up gearboxes like this, if this one goes counterclockwise, this one will be clockwise and this one will be counterclockwise. Why is it important? It's because we need to operate this guy, and we also want to have a conveyor belt down here, and we want this gearbox and the conveyor belt to go in the same direction, so we're going to have 3 of them. Another extractor down here. So now, if we put a belt on this axle, where can we put the belt? Here seems to be fine. At this stage we're getting flour and we're getting seeds, and we need to wash the flour and we need to void the seeds. So I think what we should do is that we're going to have another crate over here with a funnel, and we're going to blacklist flour on it using a filter, and that will go here, I think. So if I drop you, you will not go in, right? Yes. So if we get flour, it will stay on top of the crate until it's washed, and it will be converted into dough, and the dough will go inside here. Of course we don't want the seeds, so we're going to have another extractor over here with a filter for seeds, and we need a bucket of lava down here so that we can void the seeds. The fun thing about the adjustable crate is that if you add another one next to it, your inventory will be bigger. I do have a few hand cranks. Let us see if everything works. I also forgot to mention that we also need another extractor over here with a filter for wheat. So now if I turn this, we should get the wheat, and it does not go into the millstone, which is perfectly fine because we can just put a funnel and it should work. Yes, now it's going in. And now if we turn this one, we should get flour, which unfortunately goes 1 extra block, so we just drop you over here. And we try this again, can jump up to 2 blocks, so this has to be 2 blocks high. Now if we turn the fan, will we get dough? I can't really see that. Okay, we need to change the direction of the fan because it's sucking the items in. We need to push them out, which we can easily do that using a gear shift and apply a redstone signal. Now you should work and make me dough. Hopefully. I see particle effects, so it should be working. Yes. And the dough should be in here. Haha. So here's the part that I'm going to cheat. We can use another fan in order to cook the bread, but you need the lava in front of it, and this house is made out of wood, so I don't think it's a very good idea. Instead, we're just going to use a furnace from Mechanism. And there is another item called the transposer. If we put it over here, that should put the dough inside the smelter. Very good. And that's basically the entire design. We just have to hook it up to rotational power, make it look nice, and then we're done. I connected everything to water wheels over there, and now everything seems to be working smoothly. It's very slow, I do understand that, but how much bread do you think I eat? But I just want to test something as well. We just blocked that one. I do have a gear shift because I wanted to change the direction of the axles, but then I noticed maybe we can just put the water this way and turn you off. Yeah, it does work. It's very realistic, I like that. So we can remove you and just put a normal shaft. And we have tons of bread. Phantoms! Hello! They drop a lot. Anyway guys, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.